Stick with me, I'll make you famous. I'm Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. In this video, we are going to dissect and reverse engineer YouTube. In order for me to do that very well, I must start from the layers of YouTube, how it has been constructed and designed. I really don't believe if YouTube has been designed in such a way that there is one file sitting somewhere and all the UI elements of YouTube, they are requesting different information from one file, or at least a group of files sitting somewhere in one place. Why? Because this will be a very poor way of doing it. Why do I think that behind YouTube there is MVC? What is MVC? MVC is a design pattern, and this acronym stands for Model View Controllers. This just simply means that behind the application there is a separation of concern. All the things that are concerned about the model, they are sitting under a certain class, a function, or a folder called models. All the things that are concerned about the views, they are sitting on a certain class, a function, or a folder called views. And all the things that are concerned about controlling the application, they are grouped in a separate place. So the model view controller, it's more about the concern. This just means that in your application or in the design of your application, make sure that anything that is a view, that means a user interface, keep it separate from what is a controller. A controller, we might say that it's a business logic. And then also keep it separate from a model. What is a model? A model is also the same as a database layer. So I strongly believe that YouTube also is adopting this pattern. Obviously, there are different variation of separation of concern. Maybe you will hear somebody talking about the MVC model and also the different variation. However, in this video, I'm only concerned about the separation of concern. This is where a certain layer does one thing and one thing only. Let me bring this into perspective. When you search on YouTube, obviously there is a search box. Let's say this is where you search all your videos. Let's call this a view. This is where the users interact with it. And then behind the view, there is a controller. There is a controller. And what is a controller? A controller is that class or function that deals with processing the information that comes from the user interface. However, when this controller is processing that information, it's not aware of the views, but it can interact and view the view. And also, this controller is not aware of the database. It doesn't have the information that contains the password and all other things, and it doesn't connect, but it talks to the model. So it's the model that connects to the database to query information. So I strongly believe that based on how YouTube is scaling and also how accurate it is and also how efficient it is, it must have been developed out of this pattern, the model view controller. So lastly, let me just give you an idea of how might this happen in terms of YouTube. This is me, Matthew, searching how to code here. So it means that I'm interacting with the view. In the back end of YouTube, there are files that are organized in such a way that they are only the views. Why that has been done? You will never find a situation whereby in the same file there is an HTML and also there is PHP, and at the same time there is a PHP code that connects to the database. This has not been done. So when Matthew is searching something here, he's using the view. YouTube view are designed in such a way that inside them there is no controller, there is no logic that deals with controlling. Why they are doing that? Simply because they want to easily replace the view. Now let's go to another advanced topic, which is the solid principle. If we take the S on the solid principle, it stands for single responsibility. It stands for single responsibility. So by applying the MVC principle, you are at least doing two things at once. You are also applying the solid single responsibility principle. This means that this UI is only aware of being the user interface, so that YouTube, when they are changing things, they can just substitute this UI with another UI, because this UI is only a UI. They won't face a situation where they want to change this UI and then you find out that this UI carries some instruction that makes some business logic, and also it connects to database. It won't be substitutable. Also, when I'm done searching here how to code, then there is a file, a class, or a function that deals with processing that information efficiently, which is not involving the user interface, so that when this class breaks, we know that YouTube can only come here and make changes here. And also there is a database, that's where now the controller will go to the database and search for all the videos that relates to how to coding, and then that information will be sent back to the controller, and then it will be presented to Matthew as somebody who was searching how to code. That is it for this video. Stick with me, I'll make you famous. I'll take you places to see different faces. If you like this video, please do me a favor, subscribe and share. See you on the next one.